Hello, everyone. Louis Beauchamp, Vice President, Final Expense Direct. Today, I've got the great pleasure of speaking with two amazing agents here at Final Expense. We've got Tim Mussey. Tim Mussey, God bless you, brother. How long you been with us? 12 years now, I think? 8 years? Exactly.
It's right in between. It's actually was 10 years, February 2nd of this year.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, we appreciate you taking some time today to visit with us. And JJ, brand new to Final Expense for the second time, right?
Yes, sir. Thanks
I
for having me
love it.
back.
I love it. Well, what we're looking for today, guys, is just a frank, relaxed conversation about the final expense business itself, the industry, the pros, the cons, how and what you did to be so resilient and hang in here, Tim, and do what you've been doing for 10 years. And JJ, why the comeback, buddy? And just feed off of each other and talk about different things. All right. And I'm going to try to leave you guys alone so that I don't interrupt. I'll be sitting on the sideline, give you about 6 or 7 minutes or so of good conversation that I'll come back in and wrap it up. Fair enough?
Perfect.
All right,
Awesome.
guys. Y'all be safe.
All right, JJ, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Mus. Good to finally get a chance to chat with you, really.
Yeah, I know. I've been hearing your name, and I knew that you had left and then came back, and so I've always been curious, about you. I hear
Yep.
your name, but I don't know a whole lot about you. So tell me a little bit about, how you got here, and your background, and what's going on.
Cool. I'll give you the rundown, and it's it's kind of a humbling little beginning, a humbling beginning for myself. So my family has a carpet cleaning business. They're commercial cleaners. So I grew up in the family business. I started working for the family business right out of school. I worked for my dad for his carpet cleaning company, and 19 years old, I'm making 50 grand a year, which is pretty good money, 25, 30 years ago. Um, I wanted to get into sales, so I had a friend who was selling cars, and he said, I'm making this money, it's great, And I remember I waited an hour and a half at that interview for the person to interview, the manager to interview. If this is the job where you want to make 500 a week, you're not my guy. If you want to make 1,000 a week, you're not my guy. Like, I'm looking for players, and my eyes just kind of lit up, and I really bought into the process.
Right.
And I had some success. So I've taken that culmination of experience over the years, and really have been able to hone it in to where I am right now. And working Saturdays and holidays and missing all the family events, for a big fat commission check. It just got old after a while.
Right.
And I wanted something different. And I said, I'm going to figure out how to get into insurance. I think insurance is it. Maybe I can work remote. And I started drinking the Kool-Aid. I started doing the research.
Mm-hmm.
I really started immersing myself in this industry.
And when was that, if you don't mind me asking?
This was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. So I moved my family from Vermont, cold Vermont, to sunny Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I just chilled for about a year, spent some time with my family. I didn't really commit to any long-term, jobs. I filled in the gaps as I needed. And I started immersing myself into the insurance world. And what I found was people were more concerned about recruiting me than they were about demonstrating the success that they had in actually offering this product to the end user, which is a customer who needs the policy. So I was a little
Wow.
bit kind of put off by that. I was like, well, where are the people who are actually, selling this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And I came across Final Expense Direct through a YouTube channel. And I said, man, that's a pretty good opportunity. Like, I know sales. I know the value of a customer ending up in your headset, and like, it's a contact sport. So if they've got that figured out, then so be it. Me and kind of my personality and how I come into situations, I literally chose the wrong onboarding path to come with Final Expense Direct. So I said, I'm going to buy my own leads. I'm going to keep the lion's share of this thing. You know what I mean? And this is how I'm going to come at it. And I probably should not have come at it that way. Realistically, I found myself spending my money on leads, and all of a sudden, this guy was trying to order a pizza, or he had the wrong number, and you're starting to calculate that math in your head, and it
Right.
kind of got to me a little bit. So that, coupled with not necessarily beating to the same drum that the leadership in Final Expense wants everybody to kind of buy into. And right off the bat, I knew I was not the right fit at the right time for the organization. So,
And when, let me ask you,
yes, sir.
what made you realize that? How did you know that?
I wasn't capitalized really to put the capital up needed to give myself a, a 3-month runway to really like break through and have this start to be a business that is going to return an ROI. And then just being frustrated with myself and, really just kind of throwing in the towel.
Okay, so yeah, and so you've
That's the
been there.
reality of it.
Well,
It
yeah,
was,
it is the reality of it. So you came in hot, and when you say boarding pass, so basically, did you feel that you already had this, manageable and kind of moved
well,
forward, or what?
when I came in, I had some mild success right out of the gates.
Mm-hmm.
So the calls were coming in. I don't think I made any sales on my first day, but I did on my second and third. So the sales were starting to come in, but the revenue wasn't coming in fast enough for me to keep buying leads and to build this thing. And listen, I wish it was a little bit different. And am I pointed towards that now? Absolutely. But the situation has to be different, right? I have to set
Correct.
myself up for success instead of being gung ho and thinking that my salesmanship and experience can get me right there right off the bat. It was a little bit of a process. So I left. I went out to the real world. I have a history, like I said, of sales and marketing. So I jumped on Facebook. I started running my own ads. I started creating my own leads. I had leads pouring in my inbox. I had calls coming in my headset. But that's just a little piece of it. And
Right.
I found myself getting more excited about how many leads I generated or how cheap I got the lead cost versus actually how many deals did I sell. And I would spend so much time on the phone all day long calling these cheap leads that I generated for myself exclusively in real time just to not get a hold of anybody.
Wow.
So you're spending such a huge amount of time, playing the contact sport and trying to get somebody on the phone that it kind of just took the fun out of it. And I had a realization, and you know, Lewis's video would pop up on my Facebook feed. I'd say, "Oh man, this guy won't leave me alone." And I said, you know, there is something there. And I realized it then, I recognize it now. I went out into the real world and I got my teeth kicked in a little bit. I closed some business, but nowhere to the level of the volume that I am here. And I realized that, man, that was the setup. So I took a big bite of humble pie and I reached out to Lewis and said, "Hey, man, like, here's where I'm at. Do you remember me?" And I kind of gave a brief overview, and he welcomed the conversation, which was an absolute blessing. So that's kind of
Right.
like the history of where we're at. The second monumental date, my friend, Mr. Mussey, was May 13th, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I got back on the phone with Final Expense Direct. And the very first phone call I took after my 2-week training, it was a sale. And
Wow.
realistically, man, I tried to not look back since then.
So then you basically changed your focus and came in with a different approach, right?
I did. I onboarded on the Eagle program.
Mm-hmm.
It's a better fit for me. I don't have to worry about lead cost and what my ROI is that day. I have to show up and just focus on making sure my message is on point and having good conversations with customers.
Wow. Well, it sounds familiar. A lot of it does. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially the family business part. Almost too familiar. Without mentioning any names, I worked for a company out of Austin, and I was a sales manager for a flooring company. Okay,
Okay.
I was a sales manager for the maintenance department. We had, nationwide clients. It was a nationwide company, and so my older brother worked for the company. So it was, for instance, I would probably say somewhat of a family business. He was in it, my nephew was in it, so I came into that and I did that. Uh, and then things happened. Okay, when I first came in here, my approach was it wasn't going to be for very long. It was going to be a temporary thing, and I didn't have the right approach. I came in thinking that I'm going to do this for a little while, and I didn't realize that this is a career. And what I mean by that is if you do it right at the beginning, and focus on it, and follow the model. And when I say the model, they had this before we came along, right? And so you come into it and you just want to absorb it like a sponge. And so I didn't do that at the beginning, and so it was rough. I went through some of the same things that you did, but I also started on the program, the Eagle program. Okay, and so obviously, when you make that adjustment and you actually focus and you're on a team environment and you're able to do it and you're not out there on an island trying to do what you were doing, the success is there. Also, you have a team environment where we're able to do things together. So I think that's been the biggest thing. Also, now looking back on it, I didn't focus so much on the time I needed to spend on the phone. I thought I could get it done in a short period of time, right, and not put the work into it. Now, like you said again, the time is the big thing. Focusing on that, and also having a great, message to go along with it. And so it's kind of got me to a situation where I'm comfortable. It's not a grind, but it took time. I've been here 10 years. The first 5 years, it wasn't rough. I don't want to say that, but it was a growing experience. And then once you realize that you can do this for the rest of your life, and be successful and make a very, very good living at it, when you do that and stay focused and understand it's not a sprint. Okay, it's a marathon, and just stay in it and have a good message and just focus on helping folks. That's really been the biggest key. Okay, now looking back on it, there's so many things. Life's changed. It's completely different.
Really?
And completely different. There's no worries. There's wants, in needs, that everybody has. But life is it's just really been a blessing. You're able to help folks.
Yep.
That's number one.
Yep.
Okay, and obviously help your family. But the biggest focus is here, in the way that they do it is if you focus on the end goal, and that's helping people and not helping yourself. That's really what it's about, right? And
yeah, a mindset of how can I help somebody buy life insurance that benefits them versus how can I sell somebody life insurance? It's a completely different shift, and you might be able to get some customers by selling them, but you're going to find it's the wrong approach. It's the wrong heart to come into the situation. First of all, with a sale like this, they're not buying a car, right?
No.
This is pretty important stuff. And givers gain. You know what I mean? If I have a heart for helping, it's gonna come back. And the person
Always.
can't see, my bald dome. They can only hear my voice.
Right.
And I don't think my calls are all that good. I think they're a little choppy, and I think I've got a lot of improvements to work on.
Right.
But
that's life.
But there's a percentage of those customers that get that you care. And those are the people that have this business and that have been around for a while. And you can just look around successful organizations and see one of the commonalities that these people at the top have.
Right.
And it's caring for helping. It's not caring for lining my pocket. That is going to be a secondary result of me doing the most important thing, which is trying to help them buy.
So if you had to, wrap it up, and put it in spot, what would you, say to somebody that was looking into this opportunity, right? What would be the main focus, and what would you do in the first 6 months to make it work?
I would come to an organization such as Final Expense Direct that provided a high volume of people to talk to. And I hope that we would be the right fit. You need to have a volume of people to talk to. Sitting down with your head down for 6 months and dialing for dollars, 300 dials a day to talk to 10 or 15 people, you're going to get worn out pretty quick. There are some people that do it with success. We've heard other organizations that do this. So if one can, you can for sure. But,
absolutely,
the fastest line from A to B, from point A to point B, is a straight line. And for me, that is a call ending in my headset so I can have a real conversation with a real human being. And if it doesn't go well within 7 to 10 minutes, there's another one right there. So for 6 months, what I would do, as a producer, I would get my mindset right. So my dialing doesn't start. My calls don't come in until 10:30 in the morning Eastern time. So I'm an early bird. I'm up with the sun. So I force myself to stay up a little bit later. So I wake up around 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'll do some quiet time. I'll read. I have a relationship with God, so I'll pray, do my quiet time, read a verse of the day.
You got a routine.
And then I'm going to turn on some music in the background. The rest of the house is sleeping. I'm getting my coffee going. I'm getting my routine going because mindset is everything. And
Right.
when that first call happens, I need to be ready. Okay.
Correct.
So first
Yeah.
6 months, I'm creating a routine for myself. I'm being consistent. I'm doing the same habits over and over again, trying to get measurable, predictable results. Because if I want
Now,
to get measurable, predictable results, I have to have consistent behavior and consistent habits.
mm,
If we're going to steer the
okay.
ship, it's a little bit at a time, right? So,
Right. Okay. So you get routine,
yep,
routine. Okay. And so as far as the financial aspects of it, with anything, it's a process, right? And so in those first 6 months, what I focused on, was the same thing. Core. Think about it, keep it simple. That's the biggest thing. If you try to overcomplicate it, look at the model and follow that. And I think that is going to be successful. And just listen to what they're trying to teach you. It's all learning and be receptive. So,
yep.
what are you going to do today? Make some money?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna make some money today. Yesterday's sales and yesterday's business is yesterday.
Right.
It's done. All I have for me in front of me is today in this moment. Tomorrow is not promised, Mr. Bocamp, so I'm gonna make the best of today. You know what I mean? And attitude is everything.
Amen.
I had some really great training. It creates such a wonderful lifestyle. Like money
Agreed.
doesn't solve anything, but it can solve a lot of problems. And
What
this
do you
is
think?
Well,
this is
there
about
you
as real as it gets. You know what I mean? You watch the YouTube videos, you see the flashiness, and that stuff can suck you in. And just
Yeah.
be careful of that.
Agreed.
Be
go. There
careful
you
of
go.
that.
There
There
you
I
you
go.
go.
feel like we're real people that are actually in this industry. Like this is it. This is what we do. We help people find affordable policies that benefit them. And we grow our business through doing things the right way. So
Well, hey
Perfect.
guys, I really, really appreciate your time this morning, guys. It's been a very sincere conversation. I've been just sitting on the sideline listening a little bit. In closing, guys, Tim, we'll start with you as a senior agent. For people that are out there maybe going to watch and participate in this video, why Final Expense Direct? What would you do or say to somebody who's looking for a home right now?
What I would say is going into this, okay, the sky's the limit. It's really how much you put into it. It's a numbers game, like anyone says. But if you focus on what your goals are and your aspirations are at the end of the day, all of that can happen. And let's just put it into an example. I'll use myself as an example. After I decided, and I would say December 26th, 2022, okay, when I decided to refocus and put myself 100% into this, within I think that first 3 days, my sales were 17,000 in 4 days. Okay, just coming out of the gate. Okay, in 4 days, and it just continued to evolve from there. And I told myself, hey, if I can do this, out of everybody within the organization, because obviously I was number one at that point in time, why not continue to do that? Now I may not be that every week, but it evolves. And what happens is then you get the residuals, you get everything that comes in. And so homes, whatever it is that you need to do, if you stay with the model, okay, and stay focused, it's there. All you have to do is plug in and stay focused throughout the day. It comes in.
How would you explain the model, Tim?
Okay, I would explain the model as uh, first off, education. Okay,
Training.
training, education. Okay, that's what it starts with. Starts with training and education. From that, obviously, you're involved in that. You have a team of individuals that helps with that. Then, obviously, you're in the jungle. You're actually on the phone and you're doing that. So the actual the magic happens when you're involved in it and you're actually on the phone and you're dealing with people. Because at the end of the day, it's just a conversation. So you're actually speaking with folks. It's about insurance, right? But it's really about getting to understand people. They know what they want, but once you have a relationship with them, then it's just like talking to your sister, brother, or anyone about let's take care of Jonathan, or whatever that is that they need, and you just evolve from there. And then
There you go.
it's fun.
I think over the years, like anything else, you're right, 100%. It's an evolution of things, and one of the things that we pride ourselves here is trying to put that machine together for an agent. So you talk about leads, a volume of leads, put the odds of success in your favor. Training, You know,
Hmm.
we've got some very competent trainers that are here to help you day in, day out, in the normal hours, after hours, whatever you need. And then our back office, our customer service team.
Customer service.
There you go, buddy. So I mean, you could talk all day about that, I'm sure, especially at the time right now, because now you're seeing the renewals. Now you're seeing the as earned money coming in, and you can see the value of that, right? With JJ, you're yet to experience that, so
Cool.
yeah.
The back office and the customer service, and we really can't talk about that enough. For instance, we're talking right now. Okay, business is still running, back office is running, so there's people calling in if they need to address a situation. They have someone there, and so we're able to focus on what we need to, and that's helping families. Okay, and if we help the families, then we're helping ourselves. So customer service is huge. Their follow-ups, they're able to save business. They're working, all week, all day to do that for us. So yeah, you can't forget that.
All right, so JJ, let's close with you, my brother. What would you say to somebody right now that's looking for a machine? You explained it perfectly. I've heard you use that term many times before. The machine that we have here to provide you an opportunity for success. Do you really see this as a path to a six-figure income? And what would you say to somebody who's looking for a home?
I would say that this is absolutely a path to a six-figure income, a very healthy six-figure income. The people that are making it here are the people that are putting in the work. It's not super hard, but it is a commitment to consistency, and it's a commitment to learning, and a commitment to understanding. It's a very simple machine. It's not a complex machine. There's a lot of little pieces to it, but understanding what the machine is and what your role in that machine is. My role in this machine, the way that I see it so far, is to show up with a positive attitude,
Mm.
get to that sales meeting and try to find a gold nugget out of that thing first thing in the morning, get on the phone, let those customers know that I care, and commit to 6 hours of talk time. And for me, that's a 10:30 in the morning until 7 p.m. Eastern time commitment. And then after that, there might be some small button-up work for 10 or 15 minutes, but I literally am going to release myself from this machine, and I'm going to go be a dad and a husband and a friend and a family member. And I'm going to do it again tomorrow really hard. And on the weekend, I'm going to enjoy the fruits of my labor.
There you go.
And the back office is super helpful because unlike what I was doing before on my own, there's so much case management and administrative stuff that can suck you down. And listen, if you like that stuff, that's great. There are insurance companies that need admins and that need you to be a case manager, and you'd be a great one. But if you call yourself a sales professional and you like commission and you like the thrill of the hunt and you love helping people, then you need to commit to the time
Right.
on task, which is strapping this bad boy in and getting with it. You will make 100 grand. I'm going to make 200 grand, and I'll see you at the top.
I
There
love
you
it.
go.
I love it. Guys, well, look, I really sincerely appreciate your time today. I know it's valuable and we respect it. And folks, for anybody that's out there watching this video right now, look, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check us out. See if we're a fit. Go to our recruiting website and get in front of our recruiters. We still got 6 months left in the year. 2025 isn't over yet. So maybe we can happen for you and your family. JJ, Tim, I appreciate it, guys. Y'all be safe and go make some money today. All right.
God
Take
bless.
care.